What's up, flight crew? It's your boy Flystewie here. This is
Brittany.
And today we're going to give you guys a spoiler version review of Black Panther. So the way we want to talk about it, and the reason why we call this a Black Perspective, is because I've seen a lot of reviews, a couple, and I just wanted to give you guys my personal feeling of how I felt as a Black person, and just talk about the movie in general. But first, what do you love about the movie? I'll put you on the spot.
You know what? I feel like this movie is just really good in general. Really good. Personally, when I go see a movie, I greatly judge them on their plot. And this plot is so good. It has many layers. Like, it's not two-dimensional like most of them are. And the great thing about this movie is that the majority of the people in it are, like, Black. And basically, in the movie, not to spoil too much, but the whole...
Spoiler, if you spoil away, spoil everything.
Okay, so we can just spill our guts out.
Spill your guts out. Just spill your guts out.
Alright, cool. So, basically, the majority of the plot happens within Wakanda, or at least it happens between the Wakanda tribe, the people within the tribe. And what's great is that they kind of just make it more so about a situation that hits close to home rather than being about, like, oh, we got to save the universe. It's more like, no, we got to save our community from outsiders. And, yeah, it's just a really good movie. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, right. Like, I felt that so much. Just them keeping it within Wakanda, it let us really get to know about the culture. And what's so great about this movie is that it not only has that, like, kind of utopian world, but they grab, like, the costumes and the designs of the buildings and the accents of the characters are all grabbed from real life, just different tribes within the continent of Africa. So you got actual dialects and actual, like, costume designs used. Everything's drawn from real culture. So you're learning about Wakanda, but through that you're learning about the cultures that are within Africa, which I found tremendous. And so this movie kind of had two halves, in my opinion. Like, the first half, you're just getting to know Wakanda, getting engulfed in this, and you just really start to actually care about the characters, I felt. You know, as someone going into this movie, it made me not only curious about Wakanda, but just, like, wanted me to really get into the lore after, because they really created that great picture about it. You know what I mean? Was there anything that really stood out to you, like, character-wise, or just plots in the movie?
Yeah, I think one of the major things I really liked is how they kind of just incorporate a lot of Wakanda's culture into the movie, which is awesome. I think my favorite one would have to be when they do the whole burial ceremony for the Black Panther as well as for the Killmonger, and they get to go home and see their family. I don't know, I just thought it was really cool how they kept bringing back that part. Like, it was really good. Like, they didn't bring up anything for no specific reason. Like, every single thing that happened in that movie had a reason to it, and it greatly connected with everything else in the movie. One thing I found really interesting, though, is when the Killmonger was buried, like, he went back to, like, where was it? It was in California, like in the ghetto area where his father had passed away. But when the Black Panther went back to go see his father twice, it was like a different scenery. It was like a more peaceful scenery, and his father was kind of like a Black Panther lying in a tree with the other ancestral Black Panthers, and it was a totally different, like, feeling, you know, obviously. And I think it depends on just each person's kind of just like subconscious, you know what I mean? It kind of just greatly reflected how they saw there's the settings in which when they did resurrect from their burial to go see their fathers. And I think, oh my God, Michael B. Jordan, his character, the Killmonger, oh, well, that's the nickname and stuff. He was just very confused, and I feel like a lot of U.S. African Americans can definitely relate to that. I mean, like, we're Canadian, so, like, as Black people, I can literally go to another Canadian Black person and be like, where are you from? And they tell me, and like, oh, I'm from Africa, I'm from this country, you know, I'm from the Caribbean, this specific country. But, like, if you were to go to the U.S., like, for some reason it took me years to realize, like, a lot of them are angry because they have no idea where they come from. And just that confusion of, like, what is your past and, like, where your ancestors came from can make you feel very lost in life. So I felt like that was very relatable, because the Killmonger's personality. Like, he meant well. Like, he wanted to see Wakanda, but like, he resents the community so much at the same time, and he doesn't know how to show his care for just understanding his past in order for him to kind of grow as a man. You know what I mean? And yeah, he kind of just burned a lot of bridges, but like, he meant well, but he just came from like a rough childhood, and I feel like a lot of Black people, especially Americans, can definitely agree with that. But I feel like ultimately, as evil of a character, he was kind of like the main antagonist of the movie, but like, he definitely helped to be the catalyst for change in terms of Black Panther, because the Black Panther, the official Black Panther, once his father died, he became the new Black Panther. Like, he was more about, you know, his community, his country, making sure that their natural resources, which is the vibranium, which is like the ultimate resource on the earth, you know, is stuck within, you know, their community, rather than sharing it with the rest of the world, because they fear you know, outsiders not knowing how to manage it and possibly destroying the world as well as Wakanda as well. So, you know, he was scared, but I feel like just Killmonger's just aggressive personality kind of helped to be the catalyst for change in terms of just like the Black Panther's just mindset, in terms of just like, you know, how is he gonna be a king? Is he just gonna be king for his community, or is he also going to try to help the rest of the world? You know what I mean? Because the rest of the world is suffering. Like, you see these Black people, you know what I mean, who are not in Africa, who are not in Wakanda specifically, and they're suffering. And that's the whole reason why the Killmonger was so angry, because like, they had such a high structured advanced civilization, but they weren't willing to share their resources, while, you know, these people in the US, these Black communities are so lost, you know what I mean, compared to, you know, Wakanda, who know who they are and they're thriving as people, you know what I mean?
And this is what like really made this movie so interesting, because there was such a great contrast between, I guess, the hero, which is, you know, the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, and Michael B. Jordan character, the Killmonger, where the Black Panther, what is the name? Chikala? I can't even say it right. Chala.
Please excuse us.
But yeah, like, he represented, like, you know, the motherland, Africa, and then Michael B. Jordan, as Brittany was saying, was like almost like the pain of America. Like, he embodied just American Black life, and just coming up through like Oakland or wherever you're born, and just being told in life that, you know, your great-great-grandfather, your grandfather's grandfather, was a slave, or he suffered from Jim Crow laws. And then you seeing racism in the streets, you see police brutality, you see all these things, and all these kind of images throughout your life and experiences you experience make you angry as a person. And someone's been telling you about, you know, the motherland and going back to Africa and stuff like that, and things are going to be so much better. And Michael B. Jordan did a great job of just embodying that, the Black struggle almost. And it's hilarious when he actually makes it back to Wakanda. You know, he kills what everyone thought was going to be the main villain, which his name is Claw. He kills him, takes him back to Wakanda as the rite of passage to get in. And he goes in there like your typical urban, you know, hip-hop teen. Comes in there, this is all ours now, you know what I mean, with his fur jacket and everything. He looks straight off of, literally, I'm the captain now type of stuff, right? Straight off a hip-hop video almost looked like. And he comes in this traditional scene, doesn't care about tradition, doesn't care about anything, because why should he? He's seen so much in his life, and while everyone in here is sitting comfortable, he had to fight and struggle. And now all he wants to do is bring change in the world. He might not go about it the right way, but ultimately he has good intentions, and that's what makes us as an audience kind of relate to him a lot, because as a Black man myself, I can't speak for all Black men obviously, but you hear what he's saying and you're like, yeah, we should, if you guys have the resources, you kind of should help. And that's what makes him such a great villain, to me at least, in this movie, because I can relate to him, and it's not so black and white. He has layers to his character. And looking back at all the other Marvel movies, I can't really think of a villain that was as depth and fleshed out, and a villain you almost wanted to even root for him the whole movie, you know? Probably not. The whole sending crazy weapons of mass destruction era was kind of a little far-fetched. But if he didn't do that, you know what I mean? You root for him. And at the end of the day, when he dies and he kills himself and he pushes that thing through his chest, T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman's character, right? He actually ends up going back to Oakland, training these outreach programs, announces his country to the world and exposes it to the world, and says he's here to help now. And that's ultimately what Michael B. Jordan's character died for. So it's crazy in the sense of it's just greatness.
Exactly. I like how they just like packed a whole bunch of stuff in there and it didn't feel too stuffed. You know what I mean? Sometimes you watch movies and like you feel like they're trying to compact so much crap in it, but I felt like everything was like well fleshed out. Even just the beginning, like I find that usually with movies that I do see, you know what I mean? Usually the beginnings they try to rush it, but I felt like this one they definitely took their time. They helped flesh out his relationship with Nakia, which is ex-girlfriend. They had their own little bit going on every now and then, which is really cute, but it didn't stand in the way of the real scenario, which is, you know, they're at risk of losing their community and losing their people and, you know, being overthrown by some dude who's technically a part of the community, but he's never really been a part of it, if that makes any sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he identifies as it, but like he's not, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was a really good movie. Honestly, congrats to Kendrick Lamar. My God, just putting him as like the score and the creator of all the music basically was a big thing. The music was dope as fuck. The score was really good. Score means like the music, and I don't know if you know. Okay. But it was really good. Like there are points where like they started, you know, playing some like hip hop in the back, and you hear those like 808s, and you're like, yeah, nigga, like that's my culture. You know what I mean?
Right. And then listening to the soundtrack after just emphasizes everything about the movie. You know, it just puts you back in those scenes, and overall, it's just great, man. Kendrick Lamar, really I gotta tip my hat.
Oh,
my
can I swear?
hat.
I don't know. You should probably blur my face.
Yeah, I'll just blur it out. Just have beeps here and there and everything. Funny enough, though, as you're talking about like Lupita Nyong'o, her character, and just all the characters and all the female characters in the movie were all badasses. You know,
they were amazing.
All badasses.
Literally, like, Black Panther's
right?
little sister is like the head of IT. Like, you know how much that means to me. You know what I mean? This young chick, and she just knows everything about like information technology and just technology itself. And she's the one who created, I think that passageway where all the resource, what's it called again? You
talking about the vibranium?
The vibranium, like she made like a train to kind of transport it and stuff. Like just that dope ass shit. Even like the white person, I forgot his name.
The CIA agent,
the spy,
right?
or whatever. Yeah. He went there and he's like, I've never seen it so well efficient. Whatever the system was called. And just having those like female soldiers as well was such a big deal.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like women empowerment. You know what I mean? They definitely hit on a lot of points that I feel like everybody can really enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that girl was so badass.
Feminists can enjoy it, black people can enjoy it, white people can enjoy it. And for white people, I feel like it's not gonna be like they're kind of like clenching in their fucking seats while they're watching it. Cause like I feel like white people when they were watching the Django probably had a different feeling compared to this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the great thing about this movie is it didn't ever cross over the line as preachy.
No.
You know, every time there was a talk about race, it was for a purpose. So in the beginning of the movie, when they're doing the exposition, they showed signs of chains and everything, right? Then they have a little joke in there about colonizer, you know, where, you know, the little sister calls the CIA agent a colonizer. Pretty funny stuff. But that was to prime you, to get you in the mindset of when you meet Michael B. Jordan's character and you really get to know him in the second half of the movie, you understand where he's coming from. Because he's talking about the perspective of, you know, colonization and stuff like that. So they use it towards a plot, and they had a purpose of it. It wasn't like just some exposition of white people are bad, white people are evil. And then they had the arc of the CIA agent, where I feel he was put in the movie to show that it wasn't a white and black thing.
Yeah.
It was more of a culture versus culture thing. It was a Chadwick Boseman representing one side of culture, and Michael B. Jordan representing that American side. So,
but with, they're still one race. You know what I mean?
Race.
Yeah, I like how they didn't make it like, oh, white people are the devil. You know what I mean? It was totally anti that. If anything, they might have poked a few jabs, but I felt like it was in really good taste. And yeah, it doesn't make anyone feel uncomfortable. If anything, it makes black people feel hella comfortable, and it's just something people from other races can really enjoy. That being, it's a Marvel movie, but also it's just a really good ass movie.
So what was your
aside
favorite
from
part?
it just being a black movie, it's just a good movie.
Good ass movie.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part?
You go first.
Oh, you already know my favorite part. So let me put the scene for you guys. So basically, Michael B. Jordan comes in there for the first time. They have him in handcuffs, take him to Chikala for the first time, and they're talking, right? And he's like, ask me my name. He's like, no. Chikala's like, no. Michael B. Jordan's like, ask me my name. Chikala's like, no. Then some random guy asked him, what is your name? Michael B. Jordan says, my name is Akunte Kinte, Tekimbi Mutombo, Akon, the fifth. And he just goes off and starts screaming and shit. And I don't know, the hip hop music starts kicking in, those beats, those 808s. And I'm like, yo! That was fire. Like, for me, I jumped off my seat. I'm like, yo, this guy's a real G. How about your favorite part?
That was so extra. That part was so extra. Don't even trip.
It was the right amount of extra.
He was doing the most, but I love.
He wasn't doing enough. He really wasn't.
Wow.
He was not.
You had the jeans like. It's so funny, but I don't really. I wish you had asked me this question before we actually went live.
No,
but I don't have. Oh, unfortunately, I don't have like.
What's a memorable? Not the best.
I generally just love the movie overall. What's a memorable?
Yeah.
I keep bringing up the whole burial thing. I really like the burial thing. I like the little witty comments they had in the movie. I think it was with that guy. He was challenged. The guy who challenged him first.
Oh, the gorilla guy.
The gorilla guy.
Yeah, the H&M gorilla guy.
What did he do again? I forgot what he said. When they asked him for his help or something like that. I forget, but he's funny. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I like
he had
him.
some bangers.
Yeah, but 100%. I think... Yeah, my favorite probably would be the ceremonial one. I don't know why. It just resonates with me personally. Because, like, just seeing that, like, whole burial ceremonial thing where, like, they kind of buried them and just covered their whole bodies. By the way, I don't know how the flip they were able to breathe when they had, like, the snow and the dirt in front of their face. Whatever. But when they got to see, like, their ancestors and stuff like that, I don't know why that resonated with me, because I'm like, they're so lucky. I wish that type of stuff was actually real so I can go do that.
Oh, like one flower got, like, super speed and super strength and all that bad stuff.
No, I mean, like, go see, like, my dead ancestors.
Oh, 100%.
I want to get married and go see my grandma.
I just want to see Tupac. Forget all of them. I want to see Tupac. I want to see Will Chamberlain. I want to see... You know what I mean?
It really resonated with me. I think that was, like, if you give me time, I'll give you more, but, like, I think that definitely has to be one of my favorites.
100%. So, to wrap it up, out of 10, what would you give it?
I give it 10 fists in the air out of 10.
You know what? Yeah. Just really thinking about this movie, I have to give it a 10, just because this is the first real African utopia movie that shows you something in the future. Like, every Black History Month, every school, every theater showing every year is going to show this movie somewhere. They're still showing Jurassic Park showings, believe it or not. You can catch it in different theaters. So this movie is going to be shown from time and time again, and it's doing numbers already in the box office. Like, I don't know if you've seen the pre-sales. I don't know if you saw the first day releases in UK. It's already doing numbers.
I feel like this is something I would literally, it would be mandatory for me and every Black parent to show their children this movie.
You don't have a choice.
Once a year.
You don't have a choice.
Until, they're 18.
This is the new Madea.
For real.
100%. And there's no cross-dressing women in this.
Exactly.
Anyways, that was our podcast. Flystewie. Shout out Flight Crew. Tell me what you think about in the movie down below in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. And we out. Get at me. Easy.